Alright guys, I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I need to cut my lights off. Give me 1 second. Let me cut these lights off. I'd like to be able to start my truck in the morning. But anyway, I'm going to take a minute to kind of recap some stuff about this past weekend. Talk to you guys about kind of the mood of the nation right now. You have to forgive the lighting. It's the best that I got right now. But for those of you guys who watched the other day, I didn't really get to introduce myself very well. I apologize for that. My name's Jeremiah. I'm a truck driver. I started off calling the channel, what I call it, a driver with a political problem. I left it in my bio. I'm not a college educated guy. I'm not somebody that went to any kind of a college to become a journalist. I didn't go to any kind of college to become a business owner. I'm just a concerned American. So fast forward to right now, here today. I listen to everything going on in the news all day long. Sit there and just scan and scan and scan. I'm an old ditto head. Grew up listening to Rush. You know, I had a great childhood, you know. My parents are still happily married. I'm a married guy myself. I'm going to say I'm happily married. I don't know if my wife would say the same, but, you know, she probably hates the fact that I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I don't know. She's been pretty supportive of it. She definitely hates the fact that I'm a truck driver. I spend most of my week in my truck. So, how you doing there, Ellen? So, I kind of made the title and it only lets me put in 100 characters. So, I wanted to talk about things kind of as they relate today. I hope everybody can hear me good. If not, I'll have to try and do something different, but anyway. Yeah. I don't know whether the wife's on here or not. I don't know. I don't know if this streams straight over to my YouTube or not. I don't know. Sound is good. That's awesome, Nebraska Patriot. So, I'm glad that you actually jumped on because, you know, you got to walk around with me for a hot minute. I caught up with you up there in the parking lot. It was awesome. Had a great time. Great time. But with everything going on in the country right now, you know, when I started a YouTube channel, I was like, you know, let's do this for political reasons. And I don't know what the viewership's going to think of it. I've got 224 subscribers as of today. I want to thank each and every one of you guys. What's up, Local Live? Without you guys, there's nothing. So, yeah, watching on YouTube. That's awesome. So, you know, with everything in the environment, to me, I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't play football, I don't play baseball, I don't coach baseball anymore. I'm not an interesting guy. I'm a political guy. I'm a truck driver. I do my 70 hours a week out on the road. Okay? That is my life, you know? And then when I get a chance to take off and go do fun things like what I did up at the Trump rally, that's what we do. So, you know, this is kind of, throw your comment up now, you know, if the political stuff is too much for you guys. I mean, I've got other content that I want to bring you guys regarding trucking, but in my opinion, so much of what's going on in this world right now, the trucking industry dictates it. What has been perpetrated on us it's come to you guys. Look, when I was growing up, I watched my dad sit at the kitchen table, just like me, you know, a guy that graduated high school, and he was a truck driver. Nothing wrong with it. I would encourage people to be a truck driver if they want to be a truck driver, right? It's fun. I got a vehicle with 4 windows, you know what I'm saying? I got the best office view that anybody could ever want to have. So, yes, it was a cool stream that we had over the weekend. But I mean, it's freedom to me. I get to travel the country. I'm not going to say exactly where I'm at, but I'm in the Midwest. I normally run Northeast Freight. But I watched my dad sit at the kitchen table, and he studied a piece of book. a pamphlet. I mean, that joker wasn't probably 16, 17 pages long. And that was because the federal government said, you know, this is what you got to do to continue to drive a big commercial vehicle. You know, so that's what he did. I avoid New England. Yeah, I wish I could. But anyway, so I watched, you know, the regulations start in the trucking industry at a very young age, and I followed it. And I followed, shortly after that, the company that my dad went to work for years later. They did safety marathons, or not marathons, what do they call them all? Safety days. We got to go in, check things out. I watched companies come up out of nowhere that created rules for these drive around the parking lot things. And it's like, that's cool. I'm good with it. But looking back on it, those people set regulations for that, but nowhere was there advocacy. In comes the ATA, you know what I mean? All these different things that I watched growing up, and I look at where we're at today, and it's like, man, if you want to go out and be an advocate for something, you know, you can join all kinds of groups. Just look online. We didn't have online when I was a kid. We did, but we didn't. You know what I mean? It was kind of not as sophisticated as it is today. So, I mean, I've seen so much in this world get changed overnight based off of the government's growth, the human population's growth. And again, being a ditto head, you know, I listen to Rush talk about this all the time. You know, and fast forward even until probably 2010, I'm sitting back and I'm like, you know, my vote doesn't count. My vote doesn't count, you know. And I think 2010 I voted, 2012 I voted, and then I kind of dipped out on it for a little bit. So anyway, move forward to today. It's a little bit cool out here, but move forward to today. Look at everything that you guys see in the news. Look at how crazy the world has gotten. There's no words for this stuff. You know, I brought up about my parents still being married. You know, when I was growing up, I hated my dad for certain things that he did. But I love my dad. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to figure out how to word this appropriately so that y'all understand what I'm trying to say. My dad was tough on me. Very, very tough on me. He was the one that taught me how to drive a big truck. Love him to death for it. You know, it's something that I always wanted to try and do. I've been driving out here on the big road since like 2002. He helped me get my first commercial truck driving job where I got my CDLs. Thank you, Standard Supplies, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Thank you. I mean, that's where I got my start. I drove around the metropolitan DC area. I've been out here a long time. This is in a few very short weeks. I've been out here for 20 years driving. 20 plus years. Had a couple bumps and bruises, but, you know, all in all, 20 years, long time. So, I say all that to say, you know, my dad was hard on me. I remember I was sitting there trying to shift gears, and I missed the gear, and my father just grabbed that thing, and he said, "What?" And he got her in gear, man. I think it was a couple weeks later, the transmission, but no, I'm just messing with you. But anyway, my dad was tough, you know. So, I'm not going to be able to read that long comment until later, but yeah. It was kind of hard sitting there, you know, you want to impress your parents in whatever you do in life. For me, it was I wanted to impress my dad that I could pick this skill up. So we worked at it, I got my license, blah, 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 blah. But again, my dad was hard on me, right? The first car that I went and bought, he actually bought it, and then I think I paid him back. I hope I paid him back. Anyway, it was an Audi. It wasn't the right car to buy for my very first vehicle. But all the same, I picked the car out for certain reasons. I thought it was going to be a good automobile to buy. My dad purchased it. I think I paid him back. He drove it for a while. I drove it for a little bit longer. You know, all in all, it was a bad decision to buy that car. But my dad helped me, right? Same deal when, you know, I wanted to do different things in life. I wanted to buy a certain tool or something like that. I wanted to impress my dad by buying tools that he thought were good quality tools. And some of the times, you know, parents, they have not the greatest judgment. And Craftsman, thank you very much. I'm glad that you're going in a way. The old Craftsman, their power tools, those 19.2s were not very good. Just saying, batteries didn't last very long. But, you know, now my dad and I are at a different level where we kind of bounce things off each other, okay? But I say all that to say I was fortunate to have a father who helped raise me. A lot of society, I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, a lot of society when I was growing up still had parents that were together, and they were raised that way. They had a father that would smack them on the hiney if they did wrong, maybe crack them in the mouth if they backtalk somebody. You know, a friend of mine told me a story, and I'm not going to throw out names, but he told me this story about, you know, how he was a butthead in class, and his dad always wore cowboy boots, right? Well, they make a pretty distinct sound. Not like a leather-soled dress shoe, more like, yeah, you better run and hide. I don't know whether it's because of the thickness of the heel or what, but anyway, he told me this story, and he laughed about it, and he said, Dad still wears them cowboy boots today, if I remember correctly. But anyway, it was a distinct sound. You didn't want to do something at school and go home and get your butt beat, right? Today, and I'm not trying to pick on people for being single parents, I'm just strictly saying certain people in society, and we can see it all across the television, they went away from the moral society. They've went away from the society where you may not be married to someone, but there's an elder at the church who will help. Or, you know, what's that Big Brother, Big Sister program? You know, there's nothing like that that they work through or with. I'm trying to come up with all these different scenarios, but I mean, let's be real here. You know, when you don't have that discipline factor, not saying that the mother can't discipline, just saying when you don't have that discipline factor that, you know, a father brings to the table. I'm a guy, so I'm speaking in a fatherly way, I guess. I have 2 kids myself, but anyway, sorry, 2. I don't want to add that thumb and make it look like I'm saying 3, but anyway. So when you take that factoid out of things, it's kind of a little bit hard. Yeah, I mean, back in the 80s, you know, my dad had a piece of wood that was about that thick, and it was about that wide, that thick, you know, anyway. You get the idea. It was a big old piece of wood, and when you messed around, you got whooped with it. Or you got the belt. Yeah, I mean, society has went awry. That's why the streets are run crazy with people burning crap down, pushing dumpsters in the middle of the road, lighting them on fire, turning them over. They'll take anything and create a chop zone or a Chaz zone. I mean, it's freaking nuts, guys. Come on. Sorry. Woosah. So, I mean, y'all that were watching the other day, you guys sat back and you heard Trump himself. He's talking about the death penalty. You know, it's something that we've went away from. Society has went awry, and thank God that there are good, godly Christian people who are coming out to the pulpit to preach about this. Okay? It is time for Christians to stand up. I'm not trying to shove religion down anybody's throats, but I am a Christian, okay? It is time for pastors, it is time for deacons, it is time for church members to wake the hell up. If you don't get down with, I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, study your Bible. If you guys know me personally, on my page, I just shared something from a gentleman I'd met a long time ago. He was the physical education coach at a church school. The church that I went to had a school attached to it. And I'm not trying to throw out a whole bunch of names or nothing like that. But this guy wanted me, stupid me, don't ask me why, to take and ride down to DC with him. I was homeschooled. So he says, come down to DC with us, with the school group. I know that you ride bicycles. Maybe somebody will get a flat tire. Maybe you can help them out. I have always been a helping individual. I've always strived to be like my dad, like my grandfather. I strive to be that example that they set forward. I strive to be like certain people at my church as well. So I can't really say that other than my dad, I really knew too many Christian truck drivers now that I think about that. But not to get sidetracked, I guess what I'm trying to say is, so this guy, he eventually moved on. He's at a church way, way up north. And I hope you get to watch this, Mark, because you truly inspired what this message is today. I need to take that piece that he shared and find a way to share it with you guys here. But it laid out different biblical scriptures that talk about why to vote certain ways. So much of the left has went so freaking awry that it's not even the Democrats that I knew growing up. It's this progressive bullcrap. They stood up against us about abortion, and then I hear certain ones on the Christian spectrum that are saying, oh, no, we must let them have their abortion. Look, guys, then nobody passed no law that said that you couldn't have no abortion from the Supreme Court. They said this law does not work as a national level. Ha. What did that mean? It went back to the states. How many people didn't understand that? I had to explain certain things to my wife about it. And it's like, abortion didn't get outlawed here. I can't remember exactly what her and I said, our conversation there. But the long story short is, you know, nothing about abortion, if you have a pro-abortion candidate, like, no, we need to make a federal law, you as a Christian cannot vote for that person, or you shouldn't be voting for that person. Just saying, I'm gonna drop that one right there. Think about this school loan stuff. I'm gonna make a prediction. I stole this from a friend of mine. I went over and I'd helped some gentleman out the other day, and I haven't sent him any of my information, you know, to follow my channel or nothing like that. So I know he's not gonna catch it until later on. Maybe somebody shares it, maybe they don't. But anyhow, his reasoning with this whole giving the school loan debt stuff, right? He said, that's a nice carrot. You dangle that carrot out, people gonna vote for you. Them jokers probably got the law company. They probably got all the proceedings printed out. They probably have arguments already written out for the rebuttal to get rid of it. They want to be sued. They want this crap to get elected. They need that 20 to 30-year-old population, people that are even my age that still owe student loan debt. They need that population to vote for them, and they're saying, 10G, baby, I'm going to vote for this clown. Come on, people, wake up. Tell your friends that. Ask them, are you guaranteed that money? Who pays that money? You and me that work and earn a freaking living. I digress. I wasn't trying to go here, folks. I was trying to just come out here and have a simple conversation. I'm sorry. Please forgive me for getting irate. Anyway, so let's talk about the Trump rally over the weekend. Let's talk about it for a minute. It was a blast. If you've never been to one, you gotta go. But don't just stop at Trump. Who is Trump? Trump is a former president that if you donate $1 to him today, as far as I know, he ain't got to claim it. He got to do something with it, but it's an at-kind donation. Why aren't you giving your money to somebody running right now? Right now, people. Right now. Today. Look somebody up. Find somebody. School board. Find somebody. County commission. Find somebody and give some money. I give my time. Give some time. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting fired up. Why is it? Well, hang on. I got to stop there for a second. Why do politicians think they need money? You know why? Because the left raises it so freaking easily. Now, I talked to a libertarian up there. If y'all didn't see that video, go back and snatch it up. I think that one was an hour and 45-minute video, okay? I talked to a libertarian. I don't know too much about the Libertarian Party. I have a friend of mine. He is friends with everybody months and years before I'm friends with him, okay? He wants to be a libertarian. So I guess it's a good thing. This dude's everywhere. He's active in every campaign you could ever want to imagine. So, where am I going with this? Kind of got sidetracked there. Find a political candidate, y'all. Dr. Oz is running up there in PA. I'd never heard him speak before. Never done a whole bunch of research. So many people were like, oh, Dr. Oz is a rhino. Okay, say what you want to say. Maybe he's a rhino. I don't know. I looked at his platform today for a quick minute. Man, he's got every question answered. Answered. In other words, meaning his information is there for you as a society to become engaged with him. And I'm only referencing him because I know he's got an event coming up. Okay, I live in Maryland, so I can't vote for Dr. Oz, so this is not an endorsement of him. This is not me saying that he's a jerk off and you shouldn't vote for him, but anyway. So I say all this to say, find a candidate. Look at their platform, screenshot it, print it, do whatever you want to do. But what we have not done as a society is hold our politicians accountable. Hold them accountable. If they say on their platform, I'm pro-2A, and you dig in on that, this weekend, specifically for Dr. Oz, I'm just saying that because I've seen it on his platform, if there's something that you want to ask him regarding your Second Amendment, print that joker out. Print you out about 25, 30 of them, right? You know who your friends are in the room. Get them to record it with you. Hold these jokers accountable. Hold the jokers on the right, hold the jokers on the left. Man, we could almost make a song out of that. Just saying, anyway. Hold them accountable. It starts at the top, all the way up at the president. People running for Senate, Congress, about the same deal. You know, one side does one thing, one side does the other. All the way down to your governors. Doug Mastriano was up there. He didn't really talk issues that much, you know. He talked about what he planned to do. So my big question for Doug Mastriano, he talks about digging up there. What kind of digging are you going to do? Is there a restriction on your thought process? What do you want to see? You know, if I'm a politician and I'm running, I'm going to come out, and I know the left's going to ding me on it. I'm going to come out, and I don't know nothing about drilling oil. Please don't take this for y'all to say that I know nothing about drilling oil. I'm going to come out, let's just per se say that the largest well cap in America is 12 inches, and I know I'm wrong on that. I'm going to come out as the governor of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to say, you know what? We're going to drill, baby. We're going to drill 24-inch main right up here in Pennsylvania. You want to get down with that? Vote for me, right? Political ad, right? I'm going to go so hard on something that I'm going to have every extremist green this and anti that pushing against me, because you know what that does? That gets me in the news. That gets me talked about all across the country. And I'm going to make sure I say my name 17 times so that people get the fact that Doug Mastriano, governor for Pennsylvania, wants a 24-inch well cap. And again, I know nothing about well size. I'm just simply stating. This is what attrition is. It's stand your effing ground, stand strong, don't move, don't quake, don't shake, stand your ground. Quit being feckless. Stand your ground. Do not allow anybody to push you, even an inch. Stand your ground. Because when you stand up, somebody will stand beside you. And you know what I saw at that rally up there? I seen thousands of people inside. You know what I seen outside? I took a picture. I went out and smoked a cigarette. I am a smoker. I smoked a cigarette at like 5-something, 5:45-ish. And I took a picture. The whole cattle grate thing, or whatever they call that, where they had you zigzagging, that went away. And the line stretched out into the parking lot, all the way up into the grassy hill, came back down, went over a section, and went all the way back out. There was 2 ambulances out there. Okay? There were so many stinking people sitting there waiting to get in that joker. Waiting, wishing, wanting to get in that joker. Where were you? I get it. Some of y'all live across the country. You guys can say the same thing to me when Trumpy comes to your area. I followed Doug. I was glad to see him down at TPC. I was talking to a friend or maybe a relative about this today. I was glad to see Doug Mastriano come down when the People's Convoy was in Hagerstown, okay? He stood up on a trailer and he started to make a speech. And a friend of mine, the friend who got me my tickets, I just tipped my hand, sorry. Anyway, when he started to give his speech, the lady who donated the bread to the convoy, she was part of the campaign. So anybody who got to enjoy a potato roll, thank you. By the way, Martin's Potato Rolls, if you guys have them in your area, they have come out and endorsed Doug Mastriano. Quit buying that other crap. Seriously, I gotta point this out. I quit buying it says Dutch Country on it. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, I have bought nothing but Martin's bread since they came out and endorsed Doug Mastriano. Please do the same. Go out and buy the whole stinking shelf out. And then that way we can point back to this here and I can say, sorry, Doug, I might have just said that. Maybe, just maybe. Please, buy 2 loaves, buy 5 loaves. Put it in the freezer. Bread freezes good. Anyway, so getting back to what I was saying. Me, as a willing person, Doug Mastriano was up there to the People's Convoy in Hagerstown, Maryland. It was that Saturday. I'm standing there and I'm ready to listen, buddy. So many people had told me so many good things. I'd seen so many good things. I wanted to hear good things so that I could know where to go next when I talk to him again. Doug Mastriano is a historian. He's a politician, 30-year retired military veteran. This guy's everything that I want to see. He's a Christian as well. Take a look on the back of his shirts. Anyway, just saying. He's a great guy. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I didn't get to because I'm too willing. It's a good thing. A friend of mine walked over and she said, Jeremiah, will you hand these out for me, please? And I respected her enough to say, of course, is that all you want me to hand out? And I took another bigger stack. And I walked around and I handed out literature. Boom, 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 boom. That's what I did. The whole time that Doug was up there speaking, I didn't hear one word that he said. I've got to go back and find it still to this day. Guys, be willing. Be the hands. Be the hands that pass out information. Be the feet that carry the literature to the door. Be the eyes that see it in the news and share it with the people so that he can get ahead of stuff when he knows it's coming down the path, but he don't see it and he don't know it. You got to share it with him. Okay? Most importantly, be involved. That's been my message for the past 6, 7, 8 months. Be involved. If you don't know how to get involved, call your local central committee. Okay? If that doesn't work, reach out to me. I'll see what I can find out. It doesn't matter what state you're in. I've got friends in many different states. I will do my darndest to find any information that I possibly can. For those of you guys that are watching, please do me this favor. Do me this favor. We talk about grassroots a lot. In a grassroots effort, please help me break YouTube. Please share this video out. Encourage folks to hit the subscribe button so that they can continue to see my endless rants that never really seem to end, I guess. Endless, never seen. Anyway, so please ask people to subscribe. Just stick with me for 3 months. If you don't like my content, get rid of me. Give me a chance, you know. Again, just a dumb old truck driver with political problems. But let's get back to the People's Convoy for a minute. I'm setting something up. I actually am one of 2 people that run the People's Convoy page for Maryland official. It's a small group. Some bad stuff happened there when it ended, when it was in the middle, whatever. Let's talk real. Okay? I still use that to share information because sharing information is knowledge, as long as it's true and correct and factual. But anyway, the People's Convoy was just one major convoy that started in California, ended in Hagerstown, Maryland. There was many more convoys that joined in. Some of the people that I've encouraged to watch this channel, all the way from New Hampshire to people that live down in Florida. Those three actually, were completely different convoys. They weren't called the People's Convoy to my knowledge. They were called the Northeast something or another, and the Florida, I don't know what Ross called his. But anyway, fact being, they were all different convoys. They came eventually all to Hagerstown. I said this when I was talking to Golden Cherry. I like that guy. He's a funny guy. I can't say that I've ever really, like, per se, broke bread with him. But he's always funny to talk to. He does the twirling of the flag. It's got its own name, but I'm not good at remembering stuff like that. Anyway, so when everybody converged on Hagerstown, which is about 80 miles outside of D.C., what happened? Everybody was excited about what was happening in Hagerstown, but much like the Convention of States, which I'm trying to set up a debate, that's why I brought up about my People's Convoy page. I'm trying to set up a debate right now regarding the Convention of States. It's kind of the similar principle. When everybody stands together and they call for something, things get changed, right? We saw mask mandates get lifted. We saw indoor restrictions get lifted. We saw so many things get changed in February into March. And what happened? What happened? They go to D.C.? They go camp down on D.C.? No, they didn't do that. What happened? You know why? Because people didn't get involved. They sent money. They sent donations. There's a lot of scuttlebutt about that right now. But anyway, they sent donations. People that came to go park in D.C. left. They got tired of sitting around. Call it what you want. They got scared. They didn't go down to D.C. Nobody's truck, to my knowledge, got impounded. I know one thing that didn't happen, to my knowledge. Nobody was murdered, killed, shot, whatever you want to call it. I'm going somewhere with that in a minute. To my knowledge, everybody safely came home to the Speedway and went back out and did their laps and came back. But you know what? You know what wasn't happening? What wasn't called on by those leaders up on that stage? Everybody can have Monday morning quarterback syndrome. And this is mine right now. How many people called Washington? That's right, crickets. I didn't. That's my fault. You know how they say you point a finger at somebody, you got three pointing right back at you? That's my fault. I should have took the stand right then and there. I should have put that in their ear. I was too excited. I was too hyped up. I still fly my flags to this day on my truck. Yeah. Everybody was so scared of getting J6'd that we stayed out of D.C., most of us. But there was a brave crew. There's 13 one day and maybe 4 or 5 another day. There was a couple that went in. One guy got his truck towed out of D.C. Probably had to do a rebuild because of it, or find a mechanic to sign off on it. You know, based off of a gauge that says the cop didn't know what he was talking about, which, in my opinion, the cop didn't know what he was talking about. He's an idiot. All trucks blow smoke out the bottom of them. It's called a blow-by tube. I'm going to let that one ride right there. There's tools for that. Can't remember the name of it. That guy got shafted. Big time. Supposedly he didn't pay for the tow bill, just saying. Anyway. We still got guys that are locked up. To my knowledge, it's all guys. I have yet to go down to J6 memorial thing. We've got guys locked up in D.C. unjustly. They're taking plea bargains that suck. They're facing 2 and 5 years. They're committing suicide. We watched a lady on television talk about it. You guys watch television, sorry, the screen, whatever. I sat there and listened to that chick. I almost cried. Like, seriously, this guy was so hemmed up about jail time in a federal jail that he hung himself in his garage. You know why? You know why? I don't know what his mental state was, but I'm trying to make a point here. Those law bills are astronomical. Think about where the biggest law schools in America are. Think about how much it costs to go to these schools. We don't see many conservative, I'm going to call them that, conservative people coming out as lawyers. Okay? We see a lot of lefty losers. Well, as soon as they figure out, and after they've taken your money, greased their freaking filthy hands with your money, then they tell you they can't represent you. There's a problem. A mega problem. Anyway, there's not enough lawyers stepping up to help these people. Should they win in the Capitol? I'm not going to say one way or another, but I'm sorry if somebody invites you in their house and they're of a higher authority than a human being themselves, their U.S. Capitol Police, I would think that most people would go in. Don't you? Getting off on a tangent again. Sorry, guys. I quit reading the comments a while ago. I'm sorry because I'm fired up. I needed to get this off of my chest because it eats me every day. There's 1,000 things that eat at me, but this is the most relevant to this channel. So, I don't know, maybe we all should go back and look at that video, donate a couple nickels there, maybe talk with Mickey and make sure that she's got the information about what's going on there. I'm sure she does. I'm just saying, I don't know if she does. I haven't been down there. That's why I say that. Let's talk about something else at the rally. Let's get away from the J6 thing. Let's talk about something else at the rally. How many of y'all stood out in that parking lot? They told us we couldn't come in until I think it was 2. How many of y'all stood out in that parking lot and felt the ground rumble as the Harleys came riding in? Man, I was stoked. I was fired up. Them bikers for Trump, man, when they came out, I was like, oh, I loved it. The whole crowd erupted where I stood. And we were all the way up next to the building. It erupted. It went nuts. So I sent 2 of my friends the invitation to our local state page. Hopefully they partake in that. I know Trump isn't running until 24, but I think the Bikers for Trump did just what they did the other weekend. More for Doug than anything. But they came to support Trumpies as well. If you're a biker and you're watching this, I'll do the best that I can to point you in the right direction, maybe try and find you some state pages, but I'm still waiting on this guy that I met to respond to a message. I know he's a busy guy. But anyway, you guys got to get active, man. There's 1,000 things you can do. I know I'm preaching at the choir, sorry. I digress. As a truck driver, though, I'll tell you what I would have done. Because when I share this out later on, and my central committee in my area watches this, I would have went to bat for you guys. This is a message to those folks. I would have went to bat for you guys to bring my flatbed, again, went to bat with my boss. But anyway, to bring my flatbed to let speakers speak on it in your friggin' parking lot, but you guys don't want something big? You don't want something big? How do you spread the word when you're doing something for 100 people? If that's your plan, that's your plan. You want me to invite people, but you only want 100 people? Man, come on. You got 100 people just in volunteers. Sorry, I'm getting riled up. 100 people, folks. 100. The last thing that I did with my central committee, those of you that live in Washington County, those of you that are friends of mine on Facebook, the last thing, I'm not going to say no names. I met with a central committee member and I said, "What's the plan? Talk to me." They responded with, we're gonna have the Trump bus. Because I'm that, like, take control kind of guy. Trump bus, cool, what else? And they looked at me with a puzzled face. Love this individual, by the way. When you watch this, I'm not trying to criticize you. You didn't know me from Adam when we sat down. Here you got this truck driver. Anyway, you got this crazy, wild-haired, bushy goat-looking dude sitting in there that you've never met from Adam. And you're like, you're questioning me? You're talking to me? They're not from Jersey, but anyway. And I said, yeah. Like, speakers. I'm very, very, very fond. Not in a gay sense of the fashion, but very fond. I love this guy immensely. Love is love, right? Wrong. How many types of love are there? Just saying. I love the sheriff of Frederick County, Maryland. His name's Chuck Jenkins. He's up for re-election. His district went from being deep red to maybe a little bit purple, and it's looking blue right now. A lot of people moved out of the D.C. area, and I said, yeah, get Chuck. This is Washington County, she says. We talked about that a little bit. She's like, well, who else would you have speak? And we talked about speakers. And then she looks at me, she says, where would they speak? I said, man, we'll get a flatbed. Again, I would go to bat for you, my central committee, to have brung you a flatbed. Things have changed. This isn't 2 years ago. Sorry, I digress. Anyway, I said, we'll get a flatbed, Jen. Almost screwed up. But anyway, I said, I'll get you a flatbed. I ended up having the local tow company that ironically hangs the flag up at TPC come down with their flatbed. They brung their flatbed down, and people stood up there, and we put Trump, Pence, freaking big billboards out in front of it. And this gentleman sat up there and played the guitar and sang, and man, we had a merry, fine time. I need to find that picture and share it with you guys. But anyway, I don't know how to do that. You have to forgive me. So he sang and had a good time with a big, ginormous flag from our local wrecking company. That very flag that hung over top of the Central Committee is the same flag that I had brought up there. I carried up to TPC and hung between those two freaking tow trucks. You don't believe me? Question it. Anyway, sorry. I digress again. This person couldn't believe that I drove up in somebody's parking lot. Just me, dumb old truck driver that she'd only known for a little while. Drove up in somebody's parking lot and asked for a $2 million crane to come hang a flag out back, and it showed up that Saturday, and the flag said, boop, straight down, and it looked like the most beautiful picture on the face of earth. I probably should have made that the picture instead of what I have on my thing there. That was the very first political thing that I had done, getting up off of my butt. My butt. I done lost where I was going to go after that, y'all. Anyway, you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to make six figures. You don't have to drive a Corvette. You don't have to own a $2 million crane, $50,000 flatbed. No, you don't have to own a restaurant. Nah, that don't matter neither. None of that matters, except for the fact that that crap is what makes stuff look good. They're going to pay for food next weekend because nobody's stepping up to say, hey, I own a restaurant and I'm going to cook for you because I believe in Neil Peart. Where are you guys at? You business owners, are you that scared? Man, I'm not a business owner, but man, I don't mind asking mine to do something for me. If you work for a business, you need to stand up and you need to say, hey man, I want to do this. Get active. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to scream at y'all. Seriously, I don't. Y'all probably reaching up there going, ooh, squelch. Anyway, if you own a business, quit sitting on the sidelines. What are you waiting on? There's ways around a lot of things. If you don't want your business name put out there, ask them, don't share my information. But then when everybody says, man, that was good, then you want all the accolades. How many of y'all went to TPC? I'm going to pay attention to the comments right now. How many of you guys went? You're doing great. I'm fired up. Y'all had to forgive me. How many of y'all came to Hagerstown that Friday night? Anyway, I'm going to say what I got to say about that. There was a lady, Hippie Mama. Y'all know Hippie Mama down there with 1776 now. Hippie Mama and I was on a back channel created by a guy, and they called it the Food Channel. It was me and another lady, and I can't remember her name, and I need to bring this out and share it with you. This lady bragged her meatloaf up. She bragged her smoked mac and cheese up. Oh, I can't even remember what all was that. Man, and that lady lives in Pennsylvania. Just saying. But I'm going to tell you what, she donated all 100%. To my knowledge, there was never a nickel given to that woman for the cause. Man, I get it. I'm trying to look at this. I got bad eyesight. Sean, I get it. Medical reasons. People can't come across the country when they're sick, when they got doctor's appointments, when they got this, when they got that. I get it. Those of you who own the big motor coaches and own the businesses, y'all could have come. Those of you that were facing backlash, getting ready to lose your job because of the jabs for jobs, y'all could have come. I didn't go to California to come back to Hagerstown, but then when they left Hagerstown, I didn't go to California either. That's on me. Just saying. But the reason they came to Hagerstown was relativity to the Washington, D.C. area. I stood there. I'm going to say something. I'm going to tiptoe very, very carefully. I stood there and listened to 3 out of the 7 organizers that I knew. No, 5. 3 out of the 5 organizers that I knew talk about where they needed to go. And they spit a name out. And I said, guys, that ain't going to work. I said, why is that? You know somebody? I said, no. I said, the very place that you're asking for, I've heard friends of mine tell me that to get onto their facility, you have to show your vaccination status. If that gets me dinged from YouTube, you know what? I ain't streaming this weekend because I ain't going to have a channel. Sorry, folks. I told them it wasn't going to work. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. Just trying to be real. Why let somebody build their hopes up and piss down endless hours to try and negotiate something out when it ain't going to work? They could have asked 3 simple questions and gotten on through that. But they knew they needed to get down to Virginia. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that are still following 1776. Sorry. I don't have a chance to watch it because I got so much stuff that I'm trying to do. I reached out the other week to a person on the Central Committee. I did a live. I think it's up on here. Trying to explain what the Central Committee is, about the headquarters, so on and so forth. There's so many people that got politically active because of TPC that I feel don't understand how things work. And I'm just as guilty of it as the next, because I'm one of them people that will go over, through, under, or around you to get the result that I want. Just saying. But the Central Committee is where it's got to start at. The Central Committee found and vet the very people that are running. They can't financially support them until after the primary. But it's their job, and I do mean job. If you suck at the Central Committee, your whole county sucks as a whole. Just saying. It is your job to give every available help to the candidates that you promote. Therefore, it is your job as a Central Committee member to have the finances to furnish an election headquarters. Do you know what a headquarters is? I'm saying this very specifically to one stinking person who came down off of the Central Committee from a different area. Now, she could probably run circles around me and tell me everything that I don't know about political life, as well as her husband. But I'm going to tell you right now, you sucked. I'm glad you resigned. Not to the people that are watching right now, but I hope this gets back to a certain individual. Anyway, I digress for a moment. Your Central Committee is where you need to start at. If you can't find it, again, please reach out. Reach to your Board of Elections. If you can't find your Central Committee, reach out to your Board of Elections. Ask them where the Republican, Conservative, Democrat, because hey, let's be honest. There might be some Democrats on here. Hey, it's all good. I don't agree with your people, but it's all good. Anyway, find your candidates that you believe in, people. Get active with them, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Look, you go into the grocery store, you're going to drive past Central Committee headquarters, go in, make 10 calls, make 5 calls, stuff 20 envelopes, go knock on a door and hand out literature. Find your candidate. I believe in Doug Mastriano. I believe in Dan Cox for governor of Maryland. I really believe in Dan Cox for governor of Maryland. Maryland's ready. I hope to stream some stuff with you guys. We'll see what the viewership looks like when I stream some events for Dan. I'm going to stream this event this upcoming weekend for Neil Parrott, as long as I don't get dinged out on some stuff that I've said tonight or from the rally. Look, ribbon cuttings at 11. There's supposed to be something going on up in PA for Dr. Oz, some kind of a fundraiser, something like that. I'd love to get up there and share that with you guys, because to me, if I can show you guys that Oz isn't a rhino, if I can have 10, 12 questions within my head that I can ask Oz, maybe y'all want to leave some comments on here that I can ask Dr. Oz, I'm going to read through his stuff online, because it's my goal to bring you guys the best content that I can. And I'm sorry that I yelled. I'm sorry that I got excitable. I'm just that guy. Whoo, I'm just that guy. I'm just a dumb old truck driver with a political problem, y'all. And I'm not very old. I'm 40. I'll be 41 in a couple weeks. I don't know where our country's going from here, y'all. I'm going to jump off of here in a minute. Buddy of mine's over there. I don't know if y'all can hear the motor running over there. Another guy that drives with me. Great guy. We had a long talk about his retirement plans. I fear, absolutely fear, where this country is if we all don't get up and do something. 5 minutes a day. I'm not home. I'm like 500 miles from my house right now. This is my outlet to encourage people. That's why I did this. This is an encouragement tool. This is, look, this is y'all's preaching. This is y'all's political preaching. Maybe that's not a right term. This is y'all's political motivation. This is what you guys want it to be. You know, when I go back through and read some of these comments, I might get a little bit butthurt. This is about me becoming a better person myself. This is my means to vent, talk through things. Maybe I'll say some good stuff. Maybe y'all like my content. Maybe y'all will share some stuff out. I encourage you, please do. If you don't, I obviously suck at my job. But at the end of the day, my job is to bring you guys the best content that I can, based off of what I know about my viewership. I got 224 subscribers before I did this live earlier today. Please share this out. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Help me break YouTube. Love you guys. Again, keep it real. Get active, guys. I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go talk with my buddy. He got put in a new truck. So, I'm going to try and explain to him what I'm doing over here, yelling and screaming in his Wife probably thinks I'm nuts, but it's all good. It is all good. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood is what they used to say back in the day. I'm not sure if that's some kind of copyright thing, but it was a terminology that was used way back when. Again, I'm just a truck driver with a political problem. You guys, if you want to know something, ask. Love y'all. Have a good night.